If you're doing something like this and you're trying to remain inconspicuous, do you usually travel armed or unarmed?
Well, most definitely, traveling to the Middle East, you want to be armed.
My main concern and my main worry is what is the Jordanian government going to do when I step foot back in that country after all I've said?
It could be anywhere, anytime. You never know. Her brothers are still there. Her family's still there. You know, I'm sure that you're not a favorite of theirs.
The one thing you could really jeopardize the whole situation is giving out information. Operate under the radar and not let anybody know what we're doing.
I would do it as though we were all just touring the country.
Right.
You know,
We're putting together a travel guide.
Whatever.
I think her chances are negligible, but it'd be amazing at the end of all of this to find that, you know, something was true. I'm sure there will be things that are true, you know, because I'm sure she's one of those people who operate on half-truths, and she builds out of them.
How are you feeling?
Nervous.
How do I know this is not a con? How do I know you're not conning me?
I'm taking you there. That's all I can do.
I think any information that comes from Norma has to be taken with the biggest grain of salt the size of the Dead Sea.
If we hit any checkpoints at all, I'm giving my name, because if they ask for IDs at that point, I'm not going to give them one name and then hand them an ID of another name. He would have to play the role of my partner if I'm going somewhere to meet you and I'm going alone.
Okay.
If we're all together, he could be part of your crew.
How did you finally decide on Jeremy?
Because he was the only one I spoke to that didn't mention being armed or going down there with a mini army.
Mansour, this is Norma.
Marhaba, marhaba, كيفك? What was the first thing I said, Jeremy, when we landed?
I don't really recall.
Okay. Well, I said I'm home.
Oh, yes, that's true.
So, Norma, how does it look to you?
I like it, but I wish they'd slow down with, like, the McDonald's and the Burger King and the, you know.
So where are we going?
Jabal al-Ashrafiyya, Shari' Bartol. That's where I used to live when I was little. That's not it. That's not it. This has got to be the corner.
So what's this?
This was where my house was.
It's an internet place.
To the end of this building, this was all yard. This was all yard. هذا زمان لما كنت طفلة كان كله حوش.
هذا كان كله حوش، هذه الأرض اللي
Yeah, this was all yard. كان كله حوش.
بالضبط.
حوش.
أيوة.
وكانت شجرة كبيرة واحدة في النص.
نعم.
That's the one.
نعم.
That store right there, we used to go in there and buy gdama and candy and gum and, you know, that was our sugar rush.
Where are we?
Deir el-Catholique, the convent that used to run the school that I used to go to. The courtyard feels familiar, but they've changed the stairway. This part's new. That top balcony, I remember all of that.
And how old were you when you were here?
5, 6, 7, 9, 10.
So, did you ever go to the international school or the American school?
No, I said that just to explain the English in the book. This is the salon in the area that I used in the book, but it's not the salon.
It's not the salon.
No. في محلات في الأردن اللي بقصوا شعر للنسوان والزلام؟
عادي. بيكون عندك في عندنا هون في الحسين في النديم هذا.
Do you know of any women who have ever cut men's hair?
No. بس علي يقولوا يفتحوا السلطات علي يقولوا يكونوا طابور من هون
In the book, Dahlia cut Michael's hair.
Yeah, that's how I put it.
Did she?
In real life?
Yeah.
No. My cousin's brother is also licensed to cut hair, and he used to use it to cut men's hair sometimes. That's the only reason I even called it unisex.
So what's this place?
Sports City.
What's Sports City?
This is what I used in the book to say that we got a membership.
And did you?
No. I know it's a sports center. I've never been inside it. I had to change the locations of everything. Even the publishers wanted the locations, names, dates, times, everything changed.
Which publishers told you to do that?
Random House, the legal departments. I have the emails. Can you turn that off for a minute?
Why? This is important.
It is important, but it's also important that I do it right.
For this. This is exactly why we're here.
Jebel al-Nadif is where I first met her. I'll put it that way.
Met who?
The Dahlia.
Was her name Dahlia?
No, her real name was not Dahlia.
Okay.
I won't get out of the car. Then you get a lot of extremists, people with extremist views living around Jebel al-Nadif. We just drove past where Dahlia used to live.
Where are we, Mama?
The cemetery?
Is this the cemetery?
No, this is the one from the book. She was buried like this.
But not here.
No. This is an unmarked grave.
Is this the sort of grave in reality?
Mm-hmm.
And what's the real Dahlia's cemetery called?
I won't say that on film. I'll tell you that off camera, but not on film.
If you took us to the real cemetery, there are thousands of bodies there. You might not even take us to the actual grave. You certainly haven't given us the name. So why are you worried about them finding out? If you want to avenge her death, why are you worried about them finding out?
Because I don't want her real name going public.
Why not?
I don't want her real circumstances going public. I don't want her real name going public. I don't need her family in the limelight. And I don't need journalists over there around her family or my friends.
I just don't understand what the danger is.
There's no such thing as freedom of speech in this country. The press is regulated by the government. Everything is regulated by the government. If you stand outside and start talking about King Hussein, you can be arrested. Everything you see here is smoke and mirrors in this country.
Hi, Norma. We're going to the National Institute of Forensic Medicine, and it's the only time we have to prove on camera that it really happened. It's Dr. Hadidi, and he's got the files of all the deaths in 1996. And if you were to give me the actual name and the actual year, he can just scroll through and go yes or no. This is the best chance we're going to have of ever proving it. Do you know what I mean? How do you do, Dr. Hadidi? Thank you very much for meeting us.
This book includes all names of deaths in 1996. In the suburbs of Amman, it's written here all details about those cases.
The name is, I have to write it for you, and I can give you the initial of the last name.
Yeah.
Let's check this.
There was no such case coming from Palestine Hospital.
Really?
There is no such case brought to them dead, stabbed, and dead.
In the book, one of the pieces of information that was presented as fact is that thousands of women every year die in this way.
Excuse me, this is ridiculous what's written here. Number of homicides total is 150 annually. And from those, the cases of honor crime are ranging between 12 to 17. I feel pity for the people who might believe what's written here.
How old was she when she was murdered?
Younger than 26. She was pregnant at the time that she was murdered.
Who was she pregnant to?
Who I call Michael. She was murdered in 2001.
And you moved it back. You set it back in the 90s.
Yeah.
So the real story happened 5 years after what is said in the book. And therefore, all the things that you said existed did exist.
Did. The Gulwaz cigarettes, the 50-dinar note, the Le Meridian, and the restaurant that's there, and the unisex salon that's in it, and all of that.
Hello, Dr. Hadidi?
Yes?
You know how I said if we found more information, we would give it to you?
Yeah.
Well, we can give you the suburb, the year, the name, the hospital.
Yeah, if you give me that today, and I'll pass it to my team in the department, and we can meet tomorrow.
My team?
Okay,
No, my team.
the only problem, Dr. Hadidi, is the person is very concerned about confidentiality.